What's up guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I am Judah and welcome to my first ever reading off the clock. I'm so happy that I've started this because it's just gonna be such a fun way to film videos. Shoot, I forgot something, let me get it. Sorry, I want to use this microphone. It's not plugged into anything, but I like the way it looks and the way me holding it looks. So I'm gonna be using it for my off the clock stuff. These videos will not typically come out on a Sunday, which is my regular video posting day, but I decided for the first one it should come out on this day, plus I had no other videos ideas. So in this video I'm going to be choosing 5 of my favorite books or book series to talk about, and they're also like immediate book recs to anyone for me. So the first book series I'm going to talk about was really my original favorite book series on this channel. So if you're one of the OGs, then you probably know what I'm going to say next, and that would be The Inheritance Games by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. These books, I don't know, it's just like, they're so fast-paced, and it was so amazing the first time I read it, and I loved it. And technically this book series has 4 books, well 5 now, I haven't read the new one, but it has 4 books, and then this is the start of a spin-off series, but I loved it, so I thought I'd just put it in the mix. But basically, as I said before, if you are one of the OGs to my channel, you saw me talk about the Inheritance Games in almost all my YouTube shorts. It was just crazy how much I was talking about it. And it wasn't even like I just read it either. It was just like, I just talked about it because I guess I just started BookTube and stuff and all of that. But you will hear very mixed opinions on this book series, because it's really one of those types of book series where you either really like it or you really hate it. I will say almost all of the readers of the series pretty much can agree that this was not a good book. In fact, I'm not really going to consider it part of the series because it was really disappointing, not from Avery's point of view, and honestly it should have been 2 different books. I feel like the concept was amazing. Jennifer Lynn Barnes had a beautiful plot. Well, she had 2 plots actually planned out in this book, and she put them both in this book, but I feel like she should have made one. She should have put the plots in their own books so she could divulge or dive deeper into each plot, because we were following Jameson and then we were also following Grayson. So I feel like it would have been much better if she put those in 2 books, but that's not what we're talking about, is it? We are talking about the whole series as a whole. So the original trilogy right here from Avery's point of view. So basically this follows a girl named Avery Grams, and she's dirt poor. Both her parents are dead. She only has her stepsister that's taking care of her. I know, my voice sounds so weird right now, I'm sorry. But basically one day, she gets technically a whole person sent to her, and she gets the news. The person comes to tell her that she's been put in Tobias Hawthorne's will, which he is a billionaire. And so she gets flown out to Texas, I think is where this whole story takes place. And she's flown out there and she finds out that she got all of the money, the whole company that gets all this money basically. She didn't get all the money, obviously some money went to other people, but it was shocked because nobody in the family knew her. Nobody knew who she was. So they were all like, what is this? So the first book is basically them trying to figure out if she actually deserves it, and there's assassination attempts basically. It's just really fun, and it gives mystery vibes in the first book, but it's not really much of a mystery in the first book, except for the fact, why did he keep her in the will? And then throughout the series, we figure out a lot more. It just like keeps going. I've heard from a lot of people that they didn't like the second book. I love the cover of the second book. Don't get me wrong, I love it, but I agree. I think the second book was probably the worst book besides this one. But that's pretty much all I have to say about this series. If you have not read it, go read it, and if you don't like it, I don't really care, because again, as I said, you either really like it or you really don't. There's really no in between for anybody, but I really liked it. The next book series that I'm going to be talking about is not finished, and it's very book talk basic, insanely book talk basic, and that series is Powerless by Lauren Roberts. Lauren Roberts is an upcoming author, amazing. This is her, I'm pretty sure this is her debut novel. And she did well. She did very amazing with it. I will say it's so book talk basic. All her books are, and she's even talked about how basic it is. She hasn't specifically said that, but she said she wanted it to be like the Red Queen, and it really is so similar to the Red Queen. It's crazy. And it's also, the first book is similar to the Red Queen. It's like Red Queen and Hunger Games mashup. So really cool. So it's amazing. It's a really good book. I think since a lot of book talkers read the same book, copy paste, a lot of you would like it. So it's fine. And then the next book in the series is a novella, Powerful, and this follows Adina, which is Peyton's, who is the heroine. It follows her best friend throughout what's going on in this book, which both of these books have the same ending from different POVs, and they crushed me, to say the least. They crushed everyone, to say the least, to say the very least, because I'm not spoiling it, even though I already have spoiled it multiple times across my channel. So I'm not going to spoil it. But then this one is the second one. Also has a shocking ending. I will say the ending was overhyped to me in this one. I still think you should read it. This is my favorite cover in the series, and I don't think you can disagree with me. It's the best one. There's one more book coming out in the series so far. It's going to be called Hopeless or Hopeful, or I don't know. I don't really know. I'm hoping she'll come out with another novella because we need another novella. But basically, if you have not heard about this series yet, first off, I'd be shocked. Secondly, this follows a girl named Peyton, and she is an ordinary. In this world, there are ordinaries and there are elites. The elites have these special abilities and powers, and ordinaries don't, basically. Right? Am I right? I don't know. Sometimes I get my books mixed up. I'm gonna check. I probably should reread this series before I start talking about it, but it's fine. And basically, from what I remember, Peyton, she's one of the people picked in the games or whatever. Here, wait, let me read the synopsis. Now I am refreshed on what everything is. So basically, one day Peyton has an encounter with one of the princes, and she saves him, and she's an ordinary, but they don't know that. She is posing as a psychic because the ordinaries, I believe, are killed or they are banished, and she doesn't want to get banished, obviously. One or the two. And so basically, for saving him, she's thrown into the purging trials, which I think 8 people, I don't know, it could be 8. 8 people are basically thrown into arenas, and they're showing off the elite's powers, and they're all like trying to win. And I'm pretty sure it's fight to the death. It is, people do die. I'm pretty sure it's literally fight to the death. And basically this whole book is about her going throughout that, and she gets close with the princes, obviously, because we can't have a freaking fantasy without romance in it. I'd like one fantasy book with no romance. That takes away a lot of the juice to the book, but please, can we get one fantasy with no romance? Please. Anyway, moving on from that, ends on sadness, ends on cliffhanger, which are not really related at all. So that's even worse. It's crazy. It's just all crazy. So crazy. I think I rated this a 5 stars. I probably rated this a 4 stars, maybe a 5 stars, 4 stars, 3.5 maybe, I don't know. But we are waiting for the 3rd book to come out, and very anticipated. Read of the next year is going to be anticipated, but let's move on. Oh shoot, we've only gone through 2. Oh. If you have been recently following me, you probably know what series is coming next because I have not stopped yapping about this author's books, but this would be the Caraval series by Stephanie Garber. I loved the Caraval series. There also is the Once Upon a Broken Heart series, which I didn't like as much, but I loved the Caraval series. So basically, it's a trilogy, and then a new book came out for it this year. I think it's a novella considered, but it's long. I haven't read it yet, but I want to. I think it's on my TBR this month. But we have Caraval, Legendary, goes up, and Finale. Must-reads for you guys. Must-reads. There's Chef's Kiss. Legendary, I think, is my favorite book in the series. The middle book, which honestly I feel like the middle book usually isn't the favorite series, or maybe it always is, or maybe I'm just tripping, but I don't know. But we're gonna set these last 2 aside because they are not gonna be really talked about because I don't want to spoil, obviously. But to talk about Caraval, the first book. So basically this book follows Scarlet Dragna, and she has always lived on an island enclosed with her father. Her father is so controlling, and he's pretty abusive too, I think. So trigger warning for that, obviously, because he is like an abusive father. I don't think there are any situations of abuse in the book, but I probably am wrong. There's probably something. He probably hits one of his daughters or something. She has a sister named Tella, who is also a big character in the story. But anyway, she is in an arranged marriage, and she thinks her chances of going to Caraval are over. Caraval is a game hosted by a mastermind named Legend, and it is basically a game where the audience can participate. Anyone participates, basically. You just have to have an invitation, and it is all vague, to say the least. But basically, the second they get to Caraval, her sister is kidnapped by Legend. Well, guess what? Scarlet now has to participate, because in order to get her sister back, she has to win the game, basically. And so basically, this is going throughout the whole book. There's romance, and I loved the book because it's such a fairy tale vibe. I'm not even kidding you. It gives Disney story, except not, these books probably will be classics someday, if not already, but it gives Disney so much, and I'm here for it, and I loved it. I don't want you guys to take the Disney part out of context. It's not like childish, because it's definitely not a childish story, but it gives mature Disney Channel peak, except there's violence, there's blood, there's gore, there's romance, and so I suggest it to you. On the front of this cover it says, remember, it's only a game. That's some foreshadowing to it's not a game, I guess. Even though it is a game, but it's not a game, but it is a game. But the whole story is just amazing. There is romance for all you romance lovers, and there is gore for all you gore lovers. Just amazing stuff everywhere. That was the third series. The next series is also a well-known book talk series, but I don't think a lot of people have actually read it. I know a lot of big booktubers have read it. Lily Pham has read it, Destiny Sidwell has read it, and I think Sarah Crowley have read it, and some other people have read it, but I don't think it's widely popular. I don't think it's like a bestseller either, which is kind of crazy because I really enjoyed it. And that is the Naturals series. I read this at the beginning of the year, so almost a year ago now. And this book series has 4 books and 1 novella. So it has The Naturals, Killer Instinct, All In, and Bad Blood. And then the novella is in this one, I think. There's a novella in this. 12 is what the novella is called. So basically, these books are all about different cases, and the vibe of this book gives inheritance games. It just gives that, because I don't know, just the way it was written, it's like a knockoff. Well, actually it came out before the Inheritance Games, but it seems like very Inheritance Games coded, because it's like just like the whole way of it. I don't know, you'd have to read it to understand both series to understand it, but it's very similar, and you can tell it's written by the same author. But I don't remember these books that much, but I know I liked them. This follows a girl named Cassie, and she is really good at reading people. It's a special gift, which is basically what this book is about. She gets invited to join a special FBI project group thing where they're like teens, I think, and they're all a group, and they all have their own special gifts. I was just reading the description so I can get some summary behind it. But like, she gets invited one day to join this group with all these people who are unusual, not like everybody else, just like her. And she joins it, and soon this group solves unsolved homicides. They don't work on existing cases, well, at least they're not supposed to, but they don't work on existing cases. But obviously we got to break the rules, and they begin to work on an existing case because it has a lot to do with Cassie Hobbs. I'm not going to explain what, because I don't want to spoil anything. I don't know if it's on the back of the book. I don't think it is, but it hits really close to Cassie, and so they start to work on it. I will say, in the first book, crazy plot twist, and it is kind of scary. All the books are. They're intense for young adult novels, but they're really enjoyable. So if I know a lot of my people who watch my channel are young, I would recommend this book for, it's hard, 13-ish, mature 13, maybe 14, mature 13-year-old. I think a 14-year-old could read it. Let's see what it says on the back. I think it says. No, it doesn't say, but you need a special kind of maturity to read these books because they're very intense. Well, not very intense, but they are kind of scary, because you also get, throughout the book, the POV of the killer. You don't know who they are, but you get their POV. And it's kind of scary that we just see into their mind. Go read it. I think my favorite book in this series was All In. And yeah, I want to reread them, to be honest. Honestly, I want to reread them so much. The next series I'm going to talk about is very basic, crazy basic, and that is the Hunger Games series. There are 4 books in this series right now. It is originally a trilogy, but then we got this book in 2020, and in 2025 we are getting Beyond the Reaping, I think is what it's called, and that is another book we are getting added to the series. It's about Haymitch and his Hunger Games that he was involved in. So we get more books to it, which I'm so excited for. If you have been wondering, a lot of these books I actually got were thrifted. So let me just tell you, these were all thrifted. I got these off Thrift Books, so not my favorite thrifting site because you don't get to see a picture of the book when you buy them. This one did not come with a dust jacket. I'm not complaining because look at that pretty thing on the cover, but not come with the dust jacket, kind of disappointing, but I don't really care. And then there's also some damage on the books, but they were really cheap. $5 for this, I think. $5 for all of them, I think. So like $20 for all of these combined, which that's half the price of what you would really get them for. But Thrift Books is what I got those from. And then Pango Books is what I got the Natural series from. We did get some pictures of these. Barely any damage to that. Very cheap for all of these. Barely any damage. The one that had the most damage was Bad Blood. Had a whole crease on the back, which I did not see in any of the pictures. But I got it for very cheap anyway. So those are just some thrifting book sites that you can go on to and see. I would recommend Pango Books more because you can find them and they have pictures. On Thrift Books, there are different sections. You can choose how the condition is. It's kind of just like hit or miss with it. Very hit or miss. So anyway, back into the Hunger Games. This series, if you have not heard of and you're into reading, I'm shook. I'm honestly shook because where have you been? Under a rock? If you're watching this video, that means you probably watched other booktube videos. So you had to have seen The Hunger Games. I will say, The Hunger Games probably gets the award for best movie remake, movie adaptation, because phenomenal. Not everything was identically, I don't know, the same, but it was amazing. It was just, it's very hard, I think, I have sympathy for the people who are adapting books into movies and TV shows because it is hard, I think, to recreate a piece of fiction into a movie. It's probably getting easier nowadays with all CGI and stuff, but it can be very hard, and I think everyone needs to understand that. It is very terrifying, I know, when they make mistakes with the characters and their looks, but I look past that easily. It is very important to the story, very detrimental, but as it's their appearance, it doesn't really matter that much. I know for diehard fans it will, but for The Hunger Games, they really did a good job. I'm sorry, they really did do a good job. But the first book, and all of the books, except for actually the fourth one is like its own thing, way before the Hunger Games series. But The Hunger Games follows Katniss Everdeen. She lives in District 12, the coal district, or the coal district, because they're always mining. And basically, if you did not know about the Hunger Games series, every year, 2 tributes from each district are picked to go compete in the Hunger Games. And basically, Katniss is picked along with Peeta, and they're going into the Hunger Games. So in this book, you will see them learning. You will see them in the capital, basically, which is where all the rich people live. The districts are terrible. Well, some of them are good, but they're dirty, barely food, nothing. I'm honestly shocked, but not really, because it's a dystopian. But they're sent to the Hunger Games. In this one, it's the 74th Hunger Games, and basically it's just following them throughout that, and then a big chunk of the book is them in the Hunger Games. And I loved this book so much. I think if you ever watch a movie that is a book, you should just read the book. Just do it. Because, I'm sorry, but you need to know what the characters are thinking, right? You can't really see a lot of what they're thinking on the screen, but with the book, you can. Anyway, my favorite book in this series was Catching Fire. I don't know, I loved Catching Fire, the movie too. Sorry, that was not correct grammar. I loved the movie too, with 2 O's. But it's pretty much my take on the Hunger Games. If you have not read it, go read it. I think for these books, 13 would be a good age to read these too because they are intense and it is literally like children killing children. If you have read it and you could handle it, I just think so many kids these days are reading books that they should not be. There are children, 10-year-olds and 12-year-olds. I'm 16, by the way. 12-year-olds reading smutty books. I don't like smut. I don't read smut. And these children are reading it and I'm like, who is allowing this to happen? That's a discussion for another Off the Clock video. That brings us to the end of my first reading Off the Clock. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, press the like button and subscribe. And you will all see me in another video that I'm posting. I don't know. I post shorts on the daily. I try to post community posts on the daily. And we are working at getting an Instagram that I can post on. Working at it. But I hope you all are having an amazing day. And comment some of your favorite book series and some video ideas for me so that I know what to do. I will see you all in the next video.